Now, by this time, I'm sure you guys all saw Ryan Anderson's live on my video, on my YouTube. Sorry, y'all. I just, I want to feel bad for him. I really, really do. And I understand what it's like to deal with a narcissist. They will do a number on you, especially if you're a normal person when you meet them. Somewhat normal, because he did, date and marry a woman that was in prison for unaliving. Okay. But I feel like he just gives her too much grace. He said in that video at one point he was upset that people were either reaching out to Disney or didn't want her to be able to go to Disney. And, he originally wanted to take her to Disney and blah, 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 blah. And he felt like that wasn't right. Ryan, this woman unalived her mom, played handicap as an adult, 5 years into adulthood. Used a special needs man to unalive her mom. And you think that's unfair? What am I missing? I think it was really cool that he went on there with Perez Hilton. I think overall, Ryan kind of seems like a cool dude, but I just feel like he gives her too much grace that she doesn't deserve. This is a woman that sat there and smiled to say, get over it. Like, at what point do you say to yourself, you know what? F her. Because let me tell you something. I'm not going to let nobody treat me the way she has treated Ryan under no circumstance. Especially not after you unaliving your mom. And I accepted that, which that in and of itself is like, you know what I'm saying, a little questionable to begin with. I just think that's crazy. I do feel like he was speaking about some other things. He kind of seemed like in the beginning, at least, he was trying to stay off the topic of Gypsy. He said he didn't sign an NDA. I think that's really interesting, but he also didn't want to get in trouble with Lifetime for saying anything that he wasn't supposed to say to Perez Hilton. And he wanted to make it very clear that it wasn't an interview. And what I do love about Perez Hilton was that he made him feel very comfortable. And he spoke about himself taking it off of Ryan and allowing Ryan to get comfortable. I think that was the best way for him to handle it. I think he did a really, really good job on that live, especially because Ryan Anderson was already a little nervous. I feel like he made him pretty comfortable. Now, what I think is interesting is that he said he wasn't going to talk about it, but that doesn't mean that he had been with her when they asked about the headboard and if he had seen her. I thought that was kind of interesting because I told y'all that was alleged. The headboard looked like it was his headboard. I still stand 10 toes down on it. And then, someone did email me and say that she was there. And they mentioned what Parole felt about her being in Lake Charles initially, which I don't know whether that's true. But I think it was really a strange live, and then there was a part where he did tear up. And he said he really was hurt. And look, I get it. You're going to be hurt. It's matters of the heart. I do understand how that does work. And I do know that I am a zero tolerance person. So I operate very different from a lot of people when it comes to relationships, men, like what I'll tolerate, what I won't tolerate. But I feel like you teach people how to treat you. And when you allow people to treat you just any type of way, you're showing them what's okay and what's not okay. And I cannot tell you that I am actually really convinced that Ryan Anderson would not go back with Gypsy. I think if the opportunity presented itself, I think that Ryan would go back with her. Look, I might be completely wrong, but I think I'm right. I do think that if he had the opportunity to go back with Gypsy, he would. I think that he is very tolerant of the things that she does. I think he will remain very tolerant. I think that he is okay with what she's done. He makes a lot of excuses for her. And I think those excuses are ultimately going to be his demise and essentially what he allows her to get away with and not get away with. I think at the end of the day, it just sets a bad precedence. And I think that what's interesting is that Ryan and Ken are both very different people. In terms of, Ken is the guy that she's friends with, but doesn't really like her like that. Ryan is the guy that actually likes her, but she wants the guy that doesn't even like women. Like, I don't get it. I want who wants me, right? I don't want the man that doesn't want me. That's just me personally. And my mom always told me, and my grandma always told me, be with the man that loves you more than you love him. Look, I don't know. I don't think I've gotten it right yet, but I don't know. But I would assume that that is right. My mama's always had it right, and my grandma. But I just think that it's a very interesting situation. I just feel like Gypsy never really cared for Ryan. So, he doesn't get that. And that makes me very sad for him. Because I feel like if he really understood that Gypsy never really cared about him, he would look at the situation very different. And he would see it for what it is, and he would see how manipulative and calculated she is. He's not seeing that because in his mind, it's Christy and Ken, it's not her. But I think ultimately that's kind of the demise of the situation and the demise of Ryan. And I just, it's a very interesting dynamic, and it's very interesting that she would pick two men that are so different. Most women have a type, but I guess when you're trying to manipulate and use people and get what you need out the situation, you're not really going to have a type, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like, which dummy are you going to find today? I don't know. What do you guys think? Because I just think that that's what it is. But I might be completely wrong. I just think it's a very, very, very interesting dynamic. But to see him on that live, I mean, I'm happy he's safe. I'm happy he's okay. It seems like he may have possibly went on a date or two. But I think he's still very hung up on her. And I really wish he learned what love looks like. Because I think that's what he's missing, is that he doesn't really know what love is supposed to look like. I want you guys to drop your thoughts down below. Let me know what you guys are thinking, how you feel about this situation. How do you think Ken feels about the situation, because they are not together? But also let me know what you think of that live with Ryan. Do you think he's dating? What do you think the vibe is? I do think she's still communicating with him. In fact, when his phone was blowing up, I think she was the one blowing the phone up. That's my opinion. Don't get the messenger, okay? It's just my opinion. I do think that she was blowing up his phone and telling him, get off that live. All right, y'all. Bye-bye for now.